Yay drone here. This is the Wingsland Minivet, and we're just going to give this a fly. I don't know, there, you should be able to see those blue lights. Once those blue lights are fully lit, you know you have GPS. There's a calibration procedure with this as well. And just to show you something here, I do have an SD card in here. This is the first time I've encountered it. It says please insert SD card. I have an SD card in, so I'm not really sure what that's about. So we're just going to use this for telemetry and not record anything. Maybe we have to format the SD card. I don't know. So let's go for a flight. We are going to down and out. We're going to lift up. It's a really nice looking drone. It moves around a little bit, but not much. We have a little bit of wind here. It's a heavier drone, absolutely. I'm going to go ahead and take this up. And maybe we'll stand like right there. I don't know that you'll be able to see the telemetry on that. So we are in full GPS mode, which is this one. This is on switch 2, which is normal flying. Up would be headless mode, and the other one down 3 would be like an orbit circling. So I'm actually going to drop this. I don't know. We're going to lift it. Maybe I should start off from the ground when I do it. We're going to take it out of GPS mode. Okay. And simply to take it out of GPS mode, you want that switch on 2. 3 would be return home. So we are on 2. We should have a little bit more flyability. The GPS is strong on this where it kind of pulls it back. So we're going to go up. And now, as you can see, it's not as grabby. We still have altitude hold, but it's not as grabby, and you can fly a little bit more. And again, I'm not really sure what's up with the SD card thing. I just had this SD card in the Wingsland M5, and there was 0 issues. But maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to format it or have a clean one, or I don't know. We'll figure it out at some point. But this was really just to get this in air because I had the battery charged on this for a little while. Kind of get a burn on the battery, because you don't want to have batteries just sitting fully charged and not use them. Your battery could go bad by doing that. It's a really cool looking drone though, like really cool looking drone. We're gonna go ahead and fly it out. Some people have issues with this. Some people have had issues with this, flyaways and whatnot. I have yet to experience it, but then again, I generally don't fly out of my sight, and this is a larger drone. So at that rate over there, which we are 103 meters away, I could still see it. I could probably go 200 meters away and still be comfortable and see it. I have friends that fly way, way far away from themselves. They're very good at FPV. I have friends that are racers, excellent at FPV. Myself, I'm not that great at it. I'm not going to lie. Can I orientate this in this area? And as you can see, it kind of put the brakes on even in manual mode because the GPS is so strong. So honestly, flying, I'd have that switch in 2. As you can see, it's really not moving around. 1 is strong GPS mode, where it kind of really puts a handicap on your flying. And 2, you still have GPS, as you can see here, but not as strong, where it allows you to fly. Really good looking bird. I know a lot of people also have had issues with this gimbal. The gimbal not setting right, and let's see, there is a way to move that up. Bam. As you can see, we kind of moved up. And is it now moving up? I don't know. This button back here, you should be able to move it up and down and left to right, which it's not doing right now for some reason. But as far as the eye actually going stable, if you have this twisted to the right and you start the quadcopter, there's a good possibility that eye's not going to be stable. Move the eye to right about where it should be, then start the drone. You shouldn't have any issues. Again, we're just going to fly over here. This is, again, just literally a cruise just to burn this battery because I've had it sitting for almost a week fully charged. Rain and whatnot hasn't been in my favor. And I don't know if you guys can see the screen here. 16 meters high, 89 meters away from myself. And right now we get a little bit flickery with the back end away from us, because I guess that's probably where the antenna is. And then there, it's not flickery anymore. But if we turn the back end towards us, it gets pretty clear, as you can see there. No, it's still flickering. There, right there, it's pretty clear. So at 87 meters with the back end towards you, you're no issues. If you want to go ahead and spin that toward yourself, at 87 meters on this FPV screen, you start to have a little bit of flicker. And again, this is not a sport drone by any means. You should really not be sport flying this. I have a video showing the gimbal when you sport fly it, what it does. It kind of bounces down and then lags back up a little bit. It's not really meant for that. This is about half the cost as a Phantom, and in retrospect, the gimbal's not as good as the Phantoms. It's not a bad gimbal by any means, but it's just not as good as the Phantoms. And again, I'm not really sure what the SD card issue is, because let's see. We could probably get this over here and get a good look at it. Let's see, go underneath it. As you can see, I have an SD card in there, so there's definitely an SD card in there, but maybe it needed to be formatted. I don't know. Super cool looking drone though, and here, keep an eye on the gimbal. If I spin too quick, it takes a while for that to catch up. If I spin slow, the gimbal's on point. So like heavy banking turns, you're not going to do well with it. And we had a nice gust of wind. It's trying to fight here. You can see stuff moving. We're getting gust of winds a little bit, but this hangs and it handles. Oh no, I like it. It gets great flight time. Excellent flight time. I don't know what type of flight time we're going to see here, because again, the battery is no doubt probably discharged a little since I've had it charged last. As you can see, it put crazy brakes on, and we're in position 2 on here, which is essentially manual mode, and it's holding GPS. There, that's more locked GPS where it's really not going to move. And then we're just going to drop it out of that. We still have GPS, but it's not as aggressive GPS. So be aware, even if you drop out of GPS mode, you're still going to have GPS on this quadcopter. Upsy daisy. And it is heavier, so to recover from hard nose pitching, you better be off the ground a little bit, because if you decide to go nose down and you're not ready to recover for it, chances are you're going nose down. So you want to be light with this. Like here, look. I'm literally softly pushing this. This drone will move if you just lightly push it. If you go full throttle forward, it's going to dump its nose down, but there's a very good possibility you're going to dump it down. I really like the way this drone looks. Wingsland makes some unique looking drones. I mean, essentially, you have your Phantom look to this, but they kind of gave it a black face and whatnot. Bright orange, definitely dig that. And again, you can see me on there, which we're going to flick that down. And I don't know that it's doing anything, but yeah, because if we put it up there, that'd be please insert SD card. We have an SD card in there. Again, not sure what that's about, so we're just going to flick it down there for telemetry. And I don't know if on the back here it actually shows, no, I don't think it shows the lights on there. I think that's just for charging. 11.1 volts, so the battery's getting low on this. We're showing a 1 bar on there. Eventually it will start blinking. You should bring it back to yourself then, because if you don't bring this drone back to yourself when it's blinking, after about a minute or two, it's just going to sit itself down, and if you're way out there, then you're going to have to go find it. Very good possibility that you've busted your gimbal, because the gimbal's underhung, and if you take a heavy landing on it, it's probably going to do that. But I don't have lights yet, so we're going to continue to fly, and I'm heavy nose pitch down. Up high, that's not a big deal, but if you're doing that close to the ground, you're probably going to tumble. Really bright LEDs. You can definitely fly this at dusk or night. Extremely bright LEDs. And again, we'll figure out what's wrong with the SD card, because I kind of want to take some aerial shots, because I had the M5 out and that had a covering over its eye, and I didn't wipe the lens off after I took it off. As you can see, put the brakes on. And this is in quote unquote manual mode, which you still definitely have GPS on. So I got really crystal clear video and pictures when I was close, but when I got really up high and there was the sun kind of getting on it, I kind of got a slight glare on it. So I have the battery charging for that again, just so I could get some flight footage and hopefully get some better flight footage. Here's a really good look at this drone here. Super cool looking drone. And again, we get good flight time off of this. I'm locked on to 10 satellites here. It shows right in the upper left-hand corner, 10 satellites. I'm 2 meters away from myself and 4 meters high. I believe that's what it is. Go ahead and punch it out for it. Not really punch it out. I really don't. Again, I don't like flying this sport because it's such a heavy drone. This is not a sport flyer. I have other drones for sport flying. And right now we're starting to get a little flickery. I was able to see it. 115 meters with the back end still facing towards you. You get a little flickery from the stock mount. You can set up any other FPV screen that you would like on this. Maybe you have a favorite one. Maybe you have one more adapted to, let's see, trying to gain my orientation. Got it. Maybe you have one more adapted for long range flying if you wanted to take this out further and get crystal clear image. This stock one is just that. It's stock, it's small. They actually came out with a larger one, but there's no antenna on this. I'd assume the antenna is probably in there somewhere. And again, guys, all we are doing is literally burning this battery. We're out here to fly it a little bit to get a little more flight time on this. I really don't got too much flight time on it. I will show you one thing as I'm noticing it. I've never landed this hard, but underneath here, you can see one of the mounts underneath there has came off, so be aware. You might lose a mount. It doesn't really affect the way it sits down or anything, and we have a vehicle coming, a Jeep. So always be aware of your surroundings. It's freaking moving too. Bumping music. It's not typical out here. Here he comes. I don't have my truggy out here with me. I kind of just walked over. So I got work later on, and I'm trying just to get in the air and get stuff flown. Yeah, nice little Jeep. He didn't seem too interested in the drone at all. So I mean, guys, the way it's moving is me literally lightly going on the sticks. I will, just for the sake of doing it, that's a fly out. It can fly fast. But again, you better be ready to recover from it. Like, I'm gonna let go of the sticks. And as you see, it put the brakes on, but it's not as quick and responsive as a Phantom. It took about a good 4 to 5 meters to put those brakes on. And again, we're in manual mode. We're not in GPS. If we were in GPS, maybe it would have done a little bit stronger. But again, you still have GPS in your second switch. And we're going here. This thing gets excellent flight times. So my only complaint about it now is that SD card thing. I've never had an issue with the SD card thing. I am using class 10. I am using a SanDisk, and again, I just used the SD card in the M5, so there really shouldn't be an issue. But we'll get to the bottom of that at some point. It's no real complaint here. I have the red bugs charged up. Maybe we'll get that out, get some aerial footage from that. really nice length of time as far as this drone goes on flight times. Like, we still don't got blinky lights. I'm at 10.9 volts on the drone itself. We're just gonna have that sit there and maybe throw it into GPS mode so it sits a little bit stronger. I'm gonna take the hat cam off, just see what type of time we're at here, guys. Yeah, we're pushing a 15-minute mark. Pushing 15-minute mark on this, guys, and we still don't got lights blinking. I think average I've been hitting like 17, close to 20 minutes with this drone. I know there's some guys out there saying they're only getting 12, 13 minutes. This is no edit, guys. As I'm loading this, I'm talking. I've kind of stopped doing the voiceovers on these just because it takes a lot more editing. And as you can see, it gets wobbly in GPS mode. Like here, we're gonna try to fly around here. It's not bad, but the GPS really wants to grab a hold of it. We'll fly backwards here. We're gonna let go of our stick. There, we start getting, right now we're starting to get blinky lights. And if we let that go, it would just sit itself down. So let's take a look at the time again. We got blinky lights at about 16, almost 17 minutes after this battery's been sitting a week. And we got about another minute, 2 minutes on there. We're hitting about 18, 20 minutes on this. I'm gonna say 18 to be conservative. We are gonna set it down now. I have no reason to do an overdraw on this battery. And simply hold down and you're good to go. To turn, what do we got? Caution on this. Okay, so you start to get a exclamation mark on this when you get low voltage. We're at 11.0 volts. We're going to turn this off simply by doing that. Turns off, close that, close that. We're going to turn this off, and we are going to unplug this. And just to show you guys that I did have an SD card in here, we had an SD card in here, right there, and it is a SanDisk Ultra Plus 16 gig. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe a lesson learned. Make sure you test your camera before you go out and play, that there's not going to be an issue with the SD card. I've had that happen with the Phantom once before, so we'll just stick this in my back pocket because we're probably going to use this some more. I've had that happen with the Phantom before, where I was trying to use a 32 and it just wasn't having it. It wanted to only use the 16 without any type of modifications or formatting and whatnot. But there's a good look at this drone, guys, and as you can see, the camera does dip down when it's off. If you push it upwards a little bit, there. That's how I like to start mine. Before I plug the battery in, I kind of make sure it's there, and then the camera's always where it should be. I've had it off to the side once before, started, and it was just geeking out. So kind of help the drone out. Alright guys, I'm Jay Drone. If you haven't subscribed, please do. Have a wonderful day. And if you're not on Drone Days on Facebook, link will be at the bottom. And again, bing, click that subscribe button. Take care.